Welcome into the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Monday, March 9th. A big day in sports as the legal tampering period for the NFL officially opens up at noon, about 3 hours from right now. There will be lots of Twitter alerts if you're paying attention to the insiders. Keep an eye on it. All of the big moves will happen in the next 48 hours before the big league year begins. We'll talk about that. We will talk about all of the massive trades that have taken place over the weekend. Maxx Crosby, 2 first-round picks exchanged between the Raiders and the Ravens. We will talk about that. We'll talk about some of the other major trades, who won, who lost, and how this is going to affect free agency going forward. We will also get into everything that you need to know about the return of Jason Tatum. And before we get into it, congratulations to the 4 teams that have punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. That's right. Selection Sunday, less than 1 week from today, there are already teams that have punched their ticket. That includes an upset in Arch Madness, as in the Missouri Valley Conference, we saw Northern Iowa, the 6th seed, get that automatic bid. A bid stealer right there. High Point, congratulations to them. Queens got the win over Central Arkansas in overtime in the ASUN final. And the last team that punched their ticket already, North Dakota State, with a win over North Dakota in the Summit League finals. There are a lot more finals today, and of course, Champ Week all week long. We'll keep you up to date on everything you need to know there, as Selection Sunday right around the corner. But to help me out today with everything around the world of sports, my friend and co-host, Nolan Jamber. How are you doing today?
Championship week, like you said, so I'm doing good. Ready to watch some good college basketball. Best time of the year.
That's right. Michigan State did not finish out their season strong against Michigan, but you know what? They have a chance for revenge. They will most likely meet in the Big Ten final if they are going to meet again. They're both locks for the tournament, though, so we look forward to seeing what Izzo can do in March. But let's get started with the NFL here because, oh my God, can you remember a year where there's been this many trades, like before free
Not this
agency? Because I
early.
really can't.
Nah, not this early. It's been not a lot of big moves like there has been. Like this early on, it's been a while. I haven't seen it. Like there's been some game breaking trades, people being released. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened early, and this is gonna be. And this it hasn't even started yet. It starts like you said today. I think 12 or 2. And it's gonna be a good trade deadline. I'm gonna tell you that. Or free agency. It's gonna be good.
It's going to be a big one. So let's start off with the big one. Out of nowhere, Friday night, after lots and lots of rumors, the Ravens finally get the prize. Maxx Crosby to Baltimore for 2 first-round picks, Nolan. That is an incredibly large package. That is like up there with the biggest trade packages of all time. That's what we're talking about right now. Maxx Crosby, of course, an elite player. Is this worth it?
For 2 first-round picks, I think absolutely. I think the Ravens I think that really helps the Ravens front 7 on that defensive front. And, it's not necessarily the greatest, but adding an elite defensive end like Maxx Crosby for only 2 first-round picks, I think that's absolutely worth it. I think that's going to help not only the Ravens defense, but in the long run, help the Ravens offense. Because it'll help the Ravens offense get more rest on the sideline. I don't know. I think it's gonna work out for the Ravens, though. I think it was a great pickup for 2 first-round picks. I think it's gonna work out perfectly for them. I just can't see it not working out.
So let's talk about this because there were a lot of rumors around what the packages have been, and this obviously, I think, blew them out of the water. You're not seeing a lot of guys get traded for multiple first-round picks. There have only been like 15 in the history of the NFL. The most recent one, of course, Sauce Gardner last season, and then before that, we saw another elite defender in Micah Parsons get traded for a similar package, right? Maxx Crosby, 69.5 sacks in 110 games, right? This is a guy that has been incredible on a defense that's been anything but. There are a lot of reasons to be concerned with this. Of course, there are injury concerns with Maxx Crosby. You don't want to give up 2 first-round picks for a guy that's not going to be out there on the field for you. This is, I think, the make or break for the Ravens. They clearly are going all in. 2 first-round picks means they're saying, Lamar Jackson, we need to win a Super Bowl with him right now, which is good to see. It really is. It's exciting to see a team go in around a guy, because you see a lot of teams be a little more cautious around these sorts of things. You see a lot of teams say, yeah, but those first-round picks could be great. They could be Maxx Crosby, right? Like, the Ravens, their first-round pick this year is going to be the best first-round pick that they have for the next 5 seasons. I love this trade for them. I think the fact that they didn't have to give up they didn't have to give up more than 2 first-round picks is a big win. It's also a win for the Raiders because they get to build and rebuild a lot quicker. They have 3 first-round picks this year. They'll be able to, 2 first-round picks this year. They'll be able to get their quarterback. They'll be able to get another just best available player. And now with him off the books, they have top 3 cap space in the NFL. That is huge. And, they might be able to rebuild this in an offseason. Not saying they're going to be Super Bowl contenders right away, but they can go from the worst record in the NFL to a wild card-ish team if quarterback hits with Mendoza and they make the right moves in free agency.
I don't know if a wild card team this early on is possible with that team. I just don't think it is. I don't think they're good enough in either aspect of either side of the ball to get that. I'm rooting for them. I don't want to see. I would love to see the Raiders in the playoffs because the Raiders have one of, if not the best fan base in the NFL. They travel, they're loud, and when the Raiders are good, I feel like the NFL is kind of overall better because when the Raiders are good, they compete, they play good. We've seen them compete, we've seen them play good, but they haven't been good in quite some time now. But I don't think wild card is early on is possible. I think maybe next year for sure. You get your quarterback of the future this year. You get maybe go pick up some guys at free agency. Go get your draft picks. Go get your guys who you think could really change your franchise, shape your franchise around to a new side. But I think next year they could, if they nail their draft picks this year, get a few good maybe vet guys in free agency, they could be a really good team next year. But the problem is they're in the AFC West, which is Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, who all have a new head coach, or the Chargers have a new head coach, or no, new offensive coordinator. They have obviously Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and then you have Bo Nix and the Broncos. I mean, it's gonna be a brutal division, so seeing a wild card spot could still be a problem. But this team, if they play it right, could still be a wild card team next year if they nail their draft picks.
Yeah, definitely a lot of uphill battle for them. They're probably going to finish last in that division. You put them in a different division, though, and we're playing fantasy land. This is a interesting rebuild kind of topic.
We got if man over here.
I'm all about if man. I'm
man.
gonna give you all the hypotheticals here on the Triple Threat Show, including another hypothetical that we will see on the field: the Bills receiving DJ Moore and a 5th-round pick for a 2nd-round pick this year, the 60th overall pick in this year's draft. This one's interesting to me because I feel like this is an even trade. I feel like we've seen a lot of even trades. I would say that Maxx Crosby trade was relatively even. I would say this DJ Moore trade, relatively even. They get a wide receiver 1-ish in DJ Moore, a guy that can be a 1,500-yard receiving guy. We've seen him put up 1,300 yards with, who was it? Justin Fields? With Justin Fields. He put up 1,300 yards his best season. He's been a wide receiver 1 in the past on Carolina, but that Chicago's Bears wide receiver room is just so crowded, and you see it in the way that he was playing. In the playoffs, his last play as a Bear, he gave up on a ball that was thrown his way, intercepted, right? That is the legacy that he's leaving in Chicago. Not his greatest memory, because he's had a lot of really great plays, especially last season with Caleb Williams. But now you get DJ Moore, who's worked with Joe Brady in the past, who has worked with some great quarterbacks in the past. I like this move a lot, but it also feels a little redundant to me. How do you read this? Who won this trade?
I think I think this move obviously really helps out Buffalo. They finally get a guy who can be a wide receiver one. Because last year in the playoffs, we saw they really didn't have a true wide receiver one. They had Khalil Shakur practically as a wide receiver one. And let's be honest, he's not wide receiver one material. They have Keon Coleman, but they're not playing him. I'm not sure if they're gonna get rid of him. I'm not sure what he's got going on in the clubhouse over there, but they didn't play the wide receiver one. They do have Brandon Cooks. He's getting a little old, but I mean they got him. It is really they're finally getting a guy who Josh Allen can reliably and consistently throw a ball to, and he's fast. He can get downfield quick. Josh Allen has the arm to get it down to him, especially in contested coverage. He can make that throw. I think this is honestly a win-win. I think the Bills get they get the receiver, hopefully the receiver one or two and a fifth round pick. You could probably spend that on probably some O line or D line if they have to, and then or maybe probably getting a back out of it. And the Bears get a second round pick. They can spend that on whatever their heart desires. I think it's the win-win.
Yeah, this feels like, and I called it redundant when I brought this up because DJ Moore to me feels like a better version of Khalil Shakir. And like you said, Khalil Shakir, I'm not fooling anybody. I'm not fooling myself. I'm not fooling you. He's not a wide receiver one. He's not the same guy as DJ Moore is. But there are reasons, there are flashes where you can see what his skill set is. A really great yak receiver, someone that's really good at holding on to the football. He has got really sure hands. He's not necessarily a deep threat, but I mean, he's got the speed to burn you if you're gonna let him. But he is a guy that's just really good, really shifty, and really consistent, which I think are a lot of things you could use to describe DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore might not have the same level of yak ability as a Khalil Shakir does, but he is kind of like a bowling ball in the way that he continues to just take on coverage and move past it. So DJ Moore is going to be really good in that quick style offense as an extension of the run game, kind of like Shakir is. I still want to see the Bills go out and add another wide receiver, whether that be a big guy that they can target on the goal line like a Mike Evans, or whether that be, a another kind of quick, fast wide receiver that can just do it all, like a Romeo Dobbs or a Wandale Robinson, or maybe a deep threat like an Alec Pierce. I want to see them go out and get somebody else. Maybe they take a swing on Tyreek Hill. There's been a lot of rumors around guys like that, but they need to continue to make moves. I like this as a starting point. But the other big move, Nolan, that was out there, and I think this is probably the biggest one, at least with the most assets moving around. Trent McDuffie traded to the Rams. He then signs the largest cornerback contract in the history of the NFL, 4 years, $131 million for him. Shout out to Trent McDuffie. He is going to play a lot of really great football. The Chiefs receive first round pick, number 29 overall from the Rams. Fifth round pick, sixth round pick, and a 2027 third round pick. That is a lot of draft capital to give up for Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie is a top 10 corner in the NFL. But we also know how fast corners can fall off. And the Chiefs are a team that has done this before. They're a team that have traded away L'Jarius Sneed to the Titans, and we saw how that worked out for them. They were able to draft Trent McDuffie in the first round, replace him, and L'Jarius Sneed has dealt with injuries and fallen off since he was traded to the Titans, right? There are real concerns here for the Rams, but the Rams have always made smart picks. This is just a lot to give up for him, and I don't know if Trent McDuffie is really worth a first, a third, a sixth, and a seventh. That is just so much to give up.
Yeah, but at the same time, he has kind of been that best. He has been that best defensive back on the Chiefs for the past 2 seasons now, and the Rams have kind of needed a good, an elite secondary since they got rid of since Jalen Ramsey's kind of disappeared. I think that they're Don't get me wrong, the Rams have a great defense. They have a great defensive back room and one of the best in the NFL. But you're in a division where you're playing against guys like Christian McCaffrey. You're playing against guys like JSN, the Emerald City Route Artist. Puka Nakua. I mean, you're not Puka Nakua. Sorry, like you're playing Cooper Kupp. I mean, you're playing in an elite division, and you need elite guys to go take on that responsibility of guarding them in the deep threats, the short runs. You need a guy that can get that, and I think Trent McDuffie is going to be that guy who can kind of go do it all for you. We've seen him. We see what he can do with the Chiefs. If he consistently stays healthy, I think he'll be the exact same in the Rams. He gets put in a great spot, one of the best defense, a great defensive team, a great defensive coach over there. I think he does the same thing he's been doing. Rams are gonna be just fine and probably even better than last year. I think he's still young, drafted 3 seasons ago, and he's only been, an elite player. He's only done good things. I just can't. I think it works out for the Rams. It is worth a lot, but for how well he's been doing and how young he is, I think the package is worth it. I think the Rams were willing to give up a lot, and the Chiefs are willing to give him up. So I mean, for that much, I think that means that he's that good of a player and it's worth it. And hopefully he stays healthy.
We'll see. It's just a little concerning. That was their biggest need, for sure. If I had to pick one position for them to go all in on, it was that cornerback market, because I had them drafting 2 corners in the first round with their 2 first-round picks. So this is not the worst move. I just am a little concerned with the amount of investment they put in. And really, I was more concerned with the fact that they wouldn't be able to re-sign him. They've been able to go out and do that now, so that takes off a little bit of my, concern with this move. So it is a win-win for both sides. I still think it's a little bit of an overpay, but to get a guy that can push you over the edge, sometimes you've got to throw in that extra pick or two in order to make a move. It's not 2 first-round picks. It's not the same package that the Colts gave up for Sauce Gardner, which I think this might work out a little bit better for the Rams than it worked out for the Colts when they made that move at the trade deadline. Last trade that I wanted to bring up, and I've been saving this one specifically for you, my man. David Montgomery traded to the Texans in exchange for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, a 4th-round pick this year, and a 7th-round pick this year as well. Montgomery has been that thunder to Jahmyr Gibbs' lightning. He's been a really solid part of that Detroit Lions backfield and part of turning around an organization that had been in the dumps before really him, Gibbs, and Dan Campbell got there. So a lot of mixed feelings there. I'm going to throw it right to you, Mr. Lions fan Nolan. Talk to me a little bit about this move. Is this the time to move off of a guy in David Montgomery that's meant so much to the organization?
As much as it hurts to say goodbye, because obviously we see him get traded here in 2022, and he's just only done great things for us. I think it probably was time to say goodbye because he just wasn't getting the reps that he was supposed to be getting. It was like 2 seasons ago, it was like a 70 or like a 60-30, 65-35 split. And this year it was like a 90-10 split between Jahmyr and Montgomery. He wasn't getting the reps that he deserved, and he was a goal line presence, and he was like he'd be out there, he'd make some plays and get subbed out right away. He'd get like maybe 2 or 3 plays in, maybe possession, maybe a drive, and then just like Gibbs. It was all just for Gibbs to get a rest. It wasn't like they're on off on they're like a knuckles combo. It was just okay. You get out there, give Gibbs a break, and then get back out there, or then he'll get back out, then get back on the bench. Like that's I could see them why they would do that because Gibbs is obviously top 5 running back, top 3 running back in the NFL. You want to give your guy a rest, but what they used to have there was just phenomenal. And I think it was, I guess, it kind of worked out for Montgomery because he will go start in Houston with the Texans releasing Joe Mixon, and we also worked out for the Lions. You get a lineman who we desperately need since we've lost Graham Glasnow, Taylor Decker. Our O line is just slowly deteriorating, and they give us 2 late first round, and they give us 2 late picks in the 4th and 7th, who could also go spend on positions we desperately need, which is just anything and everything. We need O lineman, D lineman, corner, linebacker, safety. We need anything, so all the picks we'll take them. So unfortunately, as much as it's gonna hurt to see him gone, it really is gonna suck because he really helped this organization get out of the dumpster, take us to an NFC championship game, take us to a first round seed in the NFC. It does suck, but I guess not all good things must come to an end. So it was bound to happen eventually. I'm glad we had him for the past 2, 3 seasons. He helped us a lot. I'm glad we had him, but hope it does great in Texas. But it does suck seeing him leave though. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah, he'll turn 29 in June this year, which is that magic year for running backs where they fall off a cliff. So I agree with you. It probably was time to move on. It's not a bad return. You get a couple late round picks. You get an offensive lineman that, well, they're not necessarily going to be a plug and play starter. If you develop them, they could be a quality piece off the bench. And he still averaged, 4.5 yards per carry last year, right? It's not like he was bad when he touched the rock. He had 700 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he contributed through the passing game as well. He is a big piece, and I think he's going to do great in another Lightning Thunder duo over there with Woody Marks, who not a lead back. He's a guy that has a little bit of juice. He showed some flash. He showed up a little bit late in that season. Not a lead back is Woody Marks. So you get another guy that can step up, play that role for him. I like this move a lot when we are talking about a guy like David Montgomery heading to the Texans. And, again, not the worst return. A 4th and a 7th for an aging running back is about as good as you possibly could do from the perspective of the Rams. We're expecting to see more trades. Nikki Javala just posted actually, you know what? I take it back. She said, expect more trades. And just now we have some breaking news for you, Nolan. I want your live reaction here. Minkah Fitzpatrick is on the move. The Dolphins are sending Minkah Fitzpatrick to the New York Jets, an interdivision trade for a 2026 7th round pick. I'll give you my instant reaction here. That's it? That's it for Minkah Fitzpatrick? Fitzpatrick is great. Nolan, talk to me here. What do you got?
That's a terrible trade. The Jets just fleeced the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins are trying to kind of clean house, reset, but you're getting rid of, honestly, a top 10 safety, like maybe better. I mean, he's phenomenal. This does help Aaron Glenn. It does kind of help his agenda. Keep him there with his abysmal season that he had last year. And the Jets are a known defensive team. So hopefully they can bring that back with him on that roster now. I think he'll be a huge addition for that team. The Jets, how many first rounders do they have this year? Just one?
Jets have 2 first rounders this year.
That's huge. I guarantee they probably spend them both on defense. I wouldn't be surprised. I know their offense is not good, but they are a defensive team. That's how historically they've been. And they have a defensive head coach. I think that's definitely going to help kind of build the momentum that they need in New York to kind of maybe get something started, get something rolling again. The Jets just fleeced the Dolphins. Jeez.
So I want to take you through this Minkah Fitzpatrick saga with the Dolphins all the way back when he was first traded to the Steelers, right? The Steelers traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick along with a 4th round pick in 2020 and a 2021 7th round pick, which we can look up who those players were. I don't have them up in front of me, in exchange for a 1st, a 5th in 2021 and a 6th in 2020 and a 6th in 2021, right? So the Dolphins right now are plus a 1st, plus a 5th, plus a 6th for Minkah Fitzpatrick. They then that last year trade back for Minkah Fitzpatrick. They give up Jalen Ramsey, who they were going to cut, Jonnu Smith, who they were going to cut, so they get salary off the books, and they give up a 2027 7th round pick. Now they flip him to the Jets for a 7th round pick. So this makes a little bit more sense. The safety market, and we've seen how much positional value matters when we're talking about it. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a little bit older now, right? He's not necessarily in his prime anymore. He's still great. I agree with you. Top 10-ish level safety, but I wouldn't put him in the top 5 or anywhere near that top 5 conversation. He's going to be a fringe top 10 guy, maybe a top 12 guy when you're talking about the safety rankings right now. Still great, but he's not going to be a elite game-changing level safety that we're talking about right now. Again, still great. But getting a seventh round pick back for him, getting him off the books, and then immediately Minkah Fitzpatrick is signing a 3-year, $40 million deal with the Jets to make him one of the higher paid safeties in the NFL. Again, a solid deal for the Jets to get veteran leadership in there, a guy that's going to play solid football, not going to make those mistakes. I like this move a lot for the New York Jets. The Dolphins getting money off the books. That's what they need. They're eating $54 million now that they've officially released Tua as of this morning. So lots to like, lots to just pay attention to. These teams are making move ahead of the 12 noon deadline for the or I guess starting point for free agency in the NFL. Expect a lot more moves going forward, but Nolan, this is all we got right now for the NFL. I take it back. Another trade. Right as I'm about to transition to basketball for us, the Cowboys are trading for Packers defensive lineman Rashawn Gary. We don't know the return yet, but another Packers and Cowboys trade along that defensive line. Anything to bolster up that defensive line for the Cowboys is going to be a lot. I need them to bolster that defensive line if they want to be anything serious as far as contenders go this season. Otherwise, they are just the NFC Bengals. We'll keep an eye on that, but let's take a look at the NBA here. Let's take a look at the NBA because the NBA is wrapping up really quickly. There are about 20 games to go for each and every team, and as it stands right now, that one seed is up for grabs in the East. 2.5 games separates the surging Boston Celtics now that there's a new player on their team named Jason Tatum. Not sure if you've ever heard of him, Nolan, but I've got a feeling that he's pretty good at basketball. And this is a Piston team that is doing the opposite of surging. In fact, they're collapsing a little bit right now. Asar Thompson down with injury. That's not going to help at all. There are real concerns with this Pistons team. Can they hold on to that one seed, or is it Celtics in the East yet again?
It's gonna be the Celtics. The Pistons. Our rotations are terrible. Janice Jenkins is the worst basketball player of all time post contract signing. He actually is trying to do the most, and he's not good enough to be doing like he's running our one when Cade's not on the floor. And the problem is he has main character syndrome where he's trying to be Cade Cunningham, where he's not nearly good enough to be doing that. Don't I mean he was a great player before he signed that contract, and then the money got to him, and now he sucks. And I hate it. Celtics gonna grab the first seed. We're gonna be a first round exit as like a 3 seed. I can't wait.
A
But this
three
is the
seed.
exact yeah, we're probably gonna jump. I think the Cavs will probably take the 2 seed. They're so much better than us. But it's the same thing that happened to the Tigers. Come out of All-Star break, play terrible, lose the first seed in the our division, and then just collapse. And then maybe win a playoff series, then lose in the second round. It's just how it's gonna be, unfortunately. I've accepted it. Our rotations aren't good enough. We don't have the depth for it. Our shooting isn't there. We don't have a good enough team to make a deep playoff run. If we do, I'll be astonished. I'll be happy. But we can't. We're not gonna be able to compete with a fully healthy Cavs team or a fully healthy Celtics team, especially in the West. If we make it to the championship, we've been destroyed by the Spurs. We barely beat the injury riddled Thunder when we played them. We're just the Pistons. I love them. I'll still forever love the Pistons, but there's just no way we're a good enough team to make a deep playoff run. And if we somehow manage to make it to the finals, there's just unless the Spurs magically get eliminated, I just can't see us winning a series against them or the Nuggets or the Thunder. Just not possible.
Now, I'm on the same page as you as far as the Pistons not winning a championship this year. That roster is not good enough to win a championship, but I think that team is good enough to hold on to the one seed if they can kick it back into high gear. Again, the way that the Celtics are playing right now, it makes it real tough to do that. And the way that the Pistons are playing makes it even harder. But last week we were talking about a 5.5 game lead, and it's already shrunk down to 2.5. There are going to be some big games coming up, and we've seen the Pistons struggle recently. They've lost to the Heat most recently. They were on a little bit of a losing streak here, so they need to keep their options open. As far as seeding goes, it's not always the worst thing in the world to not have that 1 seed. The 1 seed right now is most likely going to play, let's say, the Heat or maybe the Magic. I don't know if the Pistons would rather play them or the Hornets, right? Like, that's kind of the option right now. I still feel pretty confident in the fact that they are absolutely going to be a top 2 seed. I don't think the Knicks are going to catch them. I'm not a fan of the Knicks this year at all. I
No.
don't know if the Cavs are going to catch them because I just don't think there's enough time for them to make up a 6.5 game lead. The Pistons might be struggling, but they're not struggling so much that they're going to lose 6.5 more games than the Cleveland Cavaliers are, right? I
Yeah.
expect the Celtics to catch them. I really do. But that 2 seed is going to play whoever becomes the 8 seed, whether that be the 76ers, the Heat, the Hawks, or the Hornets, right? And maybe you would rather play that 8 seed than a Heat team that's 3-0 against the Pistons and has a knack for getting out of that play-in tournament pretty quickly.
Yeah, the Heat, man, the Heat in the playoffs this recently just kind of. I love that. I love that playoff Heat culture. It's phenomenal. But I'm looking at the rest of the Pistons' schedule right now. It's not the end of the world. They do play a little bit of a gauntlet on the year. Go from Minnesota, at OKC, versus Toronto, versus Minnesota, at Philly. Man, it's kind of a little stretch there, but I obviously don't want to lose the 1 seed. I don't want to lose the 2 seed if we get there either. I just don't know if the team's good enough to hold the lead. But looking at the schedule, I think it's definitely possible. Obviously, I'm not hating on the Pistons. Obviously, they're my team. I'm just trying to be realistic. I just think, if we lose it, we lose it. Last year, 2 years ago, we won 14 games. I'm still fine with where we're at. Our front office, I guess, is complacent with what we have, which is going to be the downfall of this team because we don't have enough. We don't have the shooting. We don't have the perimeter D. We traded Jaden Ivey for a guy we're not even playing. 2 guys we're not even playing actually. So that's something. But this team's young too. We have a lot of young talent on this team. Like I said, Dennis Jenkins. We just signed him. He's like rookie. We still have a phenomenal G League team. We have a lot of young players who we're not playing because our bench is deep enough, I guess. But I don't know. This Pistons team scares me. I don't want to. They're making me nervous. I don't want. I want to win at least one playoff series, and I think that's possible. Especially if we get that 1, 2, or 3 seed. I think it's definitely possible. But later on, depending on who we play, just might not be there. But I still think. I hope we can hold that 2 seed. I think we can. I just don't think we can hold on to that 1 seed anymore. Celtics Tatum is back. He's already dropping double doubles again. So this guy was made in the and he's only 19 years old. He's only 19. How is he still doing? He's only 19 years old. He's doing this. It's unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, I think we hold at least the top 2 seed. I think we still can hold on to it. Just a matter of time. And hopefully playoffs. Hopefully you are fully healthy, fully ready for playoffs, and yeah.
So let's play this game right now, Nolan, a little bit. Let's do this. The Detroit Pistons will say at worst, and the wheels of the wagon completely fall out from under them. They can be anywhere from the 1 seed to the 4 seed. If the wagon wheels fall completely out of them, right? Let's play this game from the 5 seed down. You tell me in a 7-game series if they win and in how many games. All right. Let's start off with the 5 seed here. The Toronto Raptors take on the Pistons in the first round. 7-game series. How many games are the Detroit Pistons winning that series in?
I think like 7.
That's a 7-game series against the Raptors.
Raptors are a good team, man. RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes. They have some good talent over there. Actually, no, I'll take it like 6. Their bench isn't that deep. They don't have really a deep enough bench to kind of compete with us, I guess. I'll say 6-game series.
I'd take Pistons in 5 there. How about the Magic?
I think we sweep them.
You'd sweep them. I would give the Magic a game or 2, simply because Paolo just has a night. They win that game. The Magic, if you catch them on a good night, are a championship level team. They just can't play like that consistently enough
That's
to
like
ever win a
that's like
series.
twice a month. It's like
Yeah.
twice a month.
So we'll give them 1, maybe 2 games, 5 or 6 against the
Right.
Magic. How about the Heat? They win that series? How many games?
If they win, if the Pistons win, it's in 7. If the Heat win, they win it in 6. They've been dominating us every year. Every game this year, they dominated us.
I would take Pistons in 7 there. The Sixers are an interesting one. That's another
That's a team
possible.
I don't want to play. Joel Embiid's playing good, especially because he's healthy. You have VJ Escombe. You have Tyrese Maxey. They do not have Jared McCann anymore, which is something that I really do appreciate because he was phenomenal. But they have a great team. Philly's playing great. If Andre Drummond or Piston,
Shout out.
guy. Shout out Drummond. But yeah, I mean they got healthy Embiid, young obviously VJ Edgecombe, and Tyrese Maxey. That's a scary, scary 3. I don't like to see it all. But I'll say if the Pistons win that, I'll say Pistons in 6, only because I could totally see Joel Embiid getting hurt at the end of the season and him not playing.
Yeah, give me Pistons in 7 there. The Hawks, I think the Pistons sweep that series.
Yeah.
And then the Hornets are another interesting one. I think that one could go 6 or 7 as well.
I think it could too. I think the Hornets are a scrappy team. Obviously, we've seen the brawls, we've seen that little rivalry start to grow there. I think Pistons are overall just the better team. But I think that playoff Charlotte in any sport, we got them. You got football, you got NHL, you got baseball. Not actually no, they don't have a baseball team. Never mind. But they're a good playoff atmosphere, especially in football. I think that translates over to basketball because we haven't seen them in the playoffs in what 4 or 5 years, or no longer than that.
It's been
forever.
Since
It's been
Kemba.
forever.
It's like almost 10 years.
Ooh, well, they went to play in, but that was the last time. That was in 2021. That was the last time they were in the playoffs, which was playoffs. But yeah, I mean that could be a good environment, especially because they have a good team there. They have LaMelo, obviously their go-to guy. They have LaMelo. They have Miles Bridges. They have Moses Diabate. They have some great players, some great scorers over there, and they have a good bench. They did get rid of Taj Gibson. They got rid of their big vet guy over there, Taj Gibson, but. That's a good scrappy young team. Kind of like them over there. I'd say the Pistons still win that series in 6, but
so basically what we've just determined is the Pistons are winning a playoff series here. Unless something goes catastrophically wrong for them, they're gonna win a series. But I do want to focus on the main point of this segment was not the Pistons. It was Jason Tatum making his return, right? We got a little bit off topic here, but Jason Tatum's back. He's back now for the Celtics team, and they're going to be the 1 seed, most likely in the East after this. This is going to be a team that is going to be threatening for a title, which is why everyone was saying go all in on the East this year, because Tatum would be out, because the Pacers would be without Halliburton, and the Pacers one has worked out. But the Boston Celtics are still here. They're still loud, and I think they're the favorites in the East right now. I don't know how you can look at the East and not say that they are.
Yeah, it's all fun and games this year until the Pacers get the first pick and get DJ DeBansto. They're just the best team in the country, or best team in the NFL or NBA. But Celtics still, this is unbelievable. This was supposed to be a tanking year for them. They were supposed to be tanking. Look at them now, pissed. People in Boston get to live so nicely. They have championship after championship after championship. They're like me in Detroit. I haven't seen a chip in like 20 years. It sucks. So look at you too. You haven't seen a chip in forever either. But yeah, the Celtics are just the best team in basketball. They're still always a big market team. They still always have, the capability to win championships. They trade for Nikola Vukovic. He's been stepping up, especially while Tatum was gone. Jaylen Brown was playing like an MVP caliber, guard while he was gone. And with him coming back, and he's not even on a minutes restriction. He's playing full starter minutes again. He's still playing. It's like he was never hurt. He's still playing double-doubles. He's still phenomenal. And they're still probably going to make a deep playoff run because they always do because of the Celtics. But they're going to win. They're probably going to win the East. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out first in the East and probably go to bare minimum the conference finals. Bare minimum conference finals. That's how Boston is. They always just do well in the playoffs. But Celtics, Jason Tatum, boom.
Yeah, 2 games in for Jason Tatum. 15, 12, and 7 against the Mavericks in a 20-point victory, and 23 and 2 in another victory, an 11-point victory against the Cleveland Cavaliers last time out. Averaging 17.5, 7.5, and 4.5 through 2 games already, playing 27 minutes a game, a little more than half the game as he continues to ramp up from where he was before. Interesting thing with them, broken finger for Vucevic. That's something to watch because Neemias Queta, well, he's been stepping up for them. I don't know if he's a playoff level center, a guy that you want to rely on to play 30 minutes a game in those biggest moments in the second round, third round finals for this Boston Celtics team. But a lot to like, a lot to look forward to if you are a Boston Celtics fan. We'll get perspective from a Boston Celtics fan when Mayrob makes his return to the Triple Threat Show coming up in a couple days. But thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Triple Threat Show. We have been your hosts, Jeremy Lapidus and Nolan Jamber. We'll be back on Wednesday covering all of the biggest news from the tampering period of the NFL. We'll break down the winners, the losers, and who could have done more. We're going to talk about the biggest overpays, the biggest underpays, and the value contracts, everything NFL free agency coming up for you next on the Triple Threat Show Wednesday. We'll see you then.